the truth.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the 7th episode of the No Limit podcast. We have an extremely special guest here with us today, visiting us all the way from Bali, Indonesia, Mr. Lorenzo Corrado. How you doing, bro?
Bro, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much, man. And
Y-
first of all, I wanted to say a big shout out to you as well. Looked at your YouTube channel. I saw that you were training live.
Yes.
It's always a big bonus. So happy
Yes,
to be here.
exactly. Taking a lot of notes from you. I see you killing it. And one thing I want to go over is just how you were able to build your YouTube channel, because I'm such a big fan of not only your thumbnails, how you run your live streams, all your editing and production and everything. But I mean, even your trading, how you do it so just transparently to your audience and all that type of stuff. But just before we get into any of that, I just want to first off, just once again, thank you so much for being on here. I'm a big fan, and I've learned a lot. And we honestly trade very similarly, and you've taught me a lot of really cool tips that within the last like 2 months has really helped improving my trading plan and stuff. So thank you for that.
Hey, bro, I'm here to go over everything.
Yes.
Everything you need to know, anytime, any place, anywhere, man. I'm ready.
Great, bro. So, coming up with the No Limit podcast, first off, lucky number seven, 7th episode, and seven's my lucky number. Very, very great guest to have here. Speaking about sevens, I'm aware that you started off with poker. I want to go into that because
Yeah.
similar to trading, poker is a high risk, high reward, very liquid type of industry. How is that?
Bro, this was one of my first, experience in the probability game. So I think trading and poker is extremely similar.
Hmm.
And I started out I think I was around 17 years old. I lived, or me and my mom moved to a city a little bit further, like inside the country itself. So, just to clarify, I'm from the Netherlands, right? So
Hmm.
we are extremely tiny country. We have Amsterdam. Everyone knows Amsterdam. Then we have a city called Rotterdam. That's where I came from. Then in the center, there are a couple of like small cities. We went to there, and there are a couple of big casinos there. But the problem is there is no direct connection. So first of all, I had to go there by bus with a fake ID. I came in, played poker, lost all my money.
Hmm.
Then after that, I had to walk back home for 45 or 1 hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour to, you know, come back
Yep.
at least and then try it over and over again. So, it was just more of a gamble at the beginning.
Hmm.
But I fell in love with poker because of the probability game that if you play just as many as possible hands, you know that you have an advantage. Same as in trading, you will benefit. You will benefit. You will make some money along the way. So this is how I started out playing poker, and then slowly but steady, I realized that trading was a whole other level, a whole other ball game. A little bit more of a mature game as well.
Hmm.
And I decided to fully focus on that part after that.
Yeah, most definitely. And those are some fun walks home, either a winning night or losing night, either head down or head up. Those long,
Yeah,
long walks home.
that's it.
That's great, bro.
Exactly.
Well, it's great to talk about that type of stuff because on my podcast, I don't want to go over just, your strategy, why you're profitable, but all the things that led up outside of trading that made you who you are and why you are who you are to this day. You know what I'm saying? So, what made you kind of make that shift from the Netherlands over to the Bali? When did you do that?
Wow, this is a very, very long story, and it's a great question.
Hmm.
Um, I think it comes from a very, very young age. It started out when I was very young, due to the fact that I just never was that guy that was performing very well at school. I got to be honest with you. Like I was that
Hmm.
guy that always, you know, had I don't know how you call it in the United States, right? Like is it like a D or something? Is that still good? Good enough or
No,
C's or something?
yeah, like a
Like
D
low,
is barely passing. Yeah, it's probably a D student. Hmm.
like a D student, barely passing every single year over and over again. It's not that I was like stupid, I guess.
Hmm.
It was more that I just didn't had enough interest in the things that I need to do, and the things that I was interested in didn't matter at that
Hmm.
time, right? So I realized from a very young age that, or I always thought, at least from a very young age, that there was something wrong with me because of that. Obviously, because at that moment in life, you think, okay, you need to get good grades, you need to go to school, you need to do this. If you don't do that, you will end up without a job. You will end up as whatever, right?
Hmm.
So at some point in life, I was like, reaching that stage where I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm interested in other stuff. I was interested in like poker, like this type of stuff, right? Or other things, more entrepreneurial things as well. And there was also a big contradiction in my family because my mother is an entrepreneur, father is an entrepreneur. They both are entrepreneurs, yet they're forcing me to go to school and get a degree.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand it. Like, I'm like, okay, why are you guys, doing your own thing while I have to go to school and do this and that? Why can I not be driven, passionate about, the entrepreneurial lifestyle from a very young age? So I never understood that. So there was always a bit of a gap
Mm-hmm.
between, what I truly wanted in life and, what I actually had to do. So at some point, my parents both decided, or at least my mother decided, I lived with my mother, that I was a complete failure. So she sent me to Australia for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And, I worked there, she bought a plane ticket, gave me some money. That money was gone in a month. So I had to work there. I had to do my thing to survive. But that was the first massive trip, to the other side of the world, to get to know other people, to understand that there are a lot of other people traveling around, building connections, building the
Mm-hmm.
network. So from a very young age, I was 17 years old, I realized, okay, I need to be traveling more. So whenever I made some money, I started traveling,
Mm-hmm.
you know, started spending it straight away, but with pure intention. So not just, party or just to party all the time and just to spend my money. No, to actually build networks, build connections, get familiar. And that's how I now ended up in Bali for the first time. I went there when I was, I think around 23. I'm 29 right now for the first time. Someone in 2018, I guess. At that particular moment, there were a lot of expats there, a lot of digital nomads,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just making enough money to then just live their lifestyle there, the Bali life with the pool, blah, blah, blah.
With the beach.
Completely different lifestyle.
Yeah.
Um, and decided to stick around. I lived in other places like Barcelona, was in Dubai for a while, but eventually I decided that Bali is just my home. I love it here. I have the most friends here, network here, and it's developing very, very fast as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah,
how I ended up in Bali.
that is great. Yeah, and just traveling in general just changes your perspective and how you have that outlook on life. Like, do you think that just
Yeah.
changing your environment and kind of your surroundings
Hmm.
just really helped you just kind of care, shape the person that you are now?
Oh, 100%, man. You get out of the system very quickly. So,
Mm-hmm.
right, you have that system that every country has their own system, right? So, the Netherlands has a very, very strong system, very labor driven.
Yeah.
So, that means that you need to go to work, you need to get a job. Probably every country is like that, but some countries have that, that mindset so strong that you need to produce income for, to pay your taxes and all of that stuff. And my country is one of the top in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of, first of all, export, in terms of the amount of taxes we pay, the amount of money we bring to the table in the EU itself. I think that when, looking at that country by itself, you understand there is a massive, massive system. And if you don't belong there, you don't belong there.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely don't belong there. So I
Yeah.
decided to, for now, observe my country, even though I still like it from the outside, and hoping one day it will get better to
Yeah.
come back. Who knows? Who knows what's happened?
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that's for great advice. I'm 23, just like the age you said that you went traveling, and I spent the whole last year went to Europe for 3 months. And once again, I just wanted to bring that up because that's something that I completely agree with. Is that my perspective completely opened up, and I not that I stopped taking things so seriously when I came back, but I just saw the bigger picture in life. I saw like
Yeah,
really a bigger meaning and how, at least in the U.S. for me, everything is so fast paced and people are just grinding for a paycheck to blow it and party. Where I see when I go to
that's
a
it.
different part, when I go to different parts of the world, I see the value in life, and that's one thing that for anyone out there, like you said, it's very important to not only travel to get a better peace of mind, but like you said, networking, and like you've heard before, your network is your net worth. And
Yeah.
was there a lot of people along your journey that you got to meet that really helped you out? I'm pretty sure that you said that like a longer journey is when you met someone that got you into trading,
Yeah.
correct? Or
100%, 100%.
mm-hmm,
This is how I work right now with a couple of guys as well. Right in Bali, we all live in Bali. We all have our own villas. We're all hanging out on a daily basis, and we're streaming right now at the moment. So,
yeah,
that's how it goes. Indeed, we found our way here. But yeah, what you said was just very, very important. I think it's all about perspective, right? So
mm-hmm,
in order to get a true understanding of what's going on in the world, you need to have an understanding how other people live their lives. And if you look at the Indonesian culture, right, this is the funny part. So Indonesia is seen as a third world country, you name it. When I'm in the Netherlands and I hear about Indonesia, I hear about, everything is dirty, the people, they're poor,
Mm-hmm.
all these street dogs everywhere. Bro, let me tell you this. These dogs here are the happiest dogs I've ever seen in my life, because these dogs here, they're living their life. They're going to the beach every day. They're getting fed by all the tourists, outside. They don't have to, stay inside a little cage all day. They can do whatever
Mm-hmm.
they want. Yet the dogs in the Netherlands, for example, they have to go out 5 minutes a day to pee real quick if they're allowed to, with their owners
Mm-hmm.
on a leash, and that's it, right? So it's just the perspective is so delusional, and I think that Indonesia is a very very upcoming force. West Asia in general is doing big things right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I do believe that we will see this over the next coming years.
Yeah, no, most definitely. Bali was somewhere when I was graduating college. I went to college, but I was graduating college about a year ago, and I was looking to possibly move over there and was looking at a bunch of different places. I went and visited the Philippines. Loved
Yeah.
that. That once again, talking about the stray dogs and then just the people and the meaning of life, like that was a big, eye opener and stuff. But shifting a little over to kind of a longer journey about when you kind of got into trading, kind of when was that?
This was in 2000, and yeah, let's say, early 2017. I actually, got familiar with cryptos first.
Hmm.
Like anyone else, I was a degen, right?
Yeah,
I made a lot of money. And you know what happens with a gambler? If they make a lot of money for the first time,
I gotta
they
spend it.
they're done. The
Yeah.
shiny object syndrome. They're
Yeah.
done
Hmm.
and they're hooked, right? So that's a little bit how I started out. I invested in some cryptos like anyone else at the beginning of 2017, pretty much. The
Hmm.
whole round world. Well, Bitcoin was, I guess, $1,000 around about that time
Oh
still.
wow.
And yeah, invested, made some money, lost everything, obviously, right? Didn't know what I was doing, but it gave me, the amazing blessing of trying to figure out what trading is. And from that moment, I started to actually trade, very, very seriously. Started to trade cryptocurrencies for a while until I realized in 2019 that, you know, it's dead. At least that's what I thought at that particular moment. So I started to go into the forex market, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing!" It's way better than I thought. At the beginning, when I didn't have much understanding of trading itself, I saw, the EU chart, 0.2% in the day. I was like, "Bro, that's impossible. You cannot make any money then, right?" Because
Mhm.
like 0.2%, like these cryptos went up with 10% a day and then dropped 10% a day. So volatility was huge, so way more opportunity. But it's all about risk to reward. So if you like, if you get a minor stop loss, then your risk to reward is like a 7 to 1. So
Yeah.
you can make a lot of money. So when I understood that, focused on forex for a while, then crypto came back, started trading both. Eventually came back to forex again. Until right now, I'm at a stage where I'm tempted to do both again, because it's still my original bread and butter.
Mhm.
And trading is trading. I think you need to be as adaptable as possible. I think you need to adjust whenever needed. And when there is more opportunity, at another market, then I will go there. So it totally depends where the money is right now.
Mhm.
But that's for now, it's 99.9% forex still.
Yeah. Do you remember like how you found out about crypto? Like what was it that, do you see it somewhere or how did you figure it out? I'm just
Degen
curious.
talk, man. Like, a friend calling me, this coin, you have to invest in it. It was $100,000. I bought it for 500. Now
Mhm.
it's 1,000. You know how it goes, man. I was like,
Yeah.
oh wow, that sounds amazing. Buy it, make a bunch of money, hooked. You
Yeah.
know,
Most
that's
definitely.
the game.
Yeah,
Same
no.
as poker. Made a lot of money at the beginning, hooked as well. It's
Mhm.
just all the same thing, man. So you get hooked and you're obsessed with it from there, and you don't. Some people quit. They get they lose interest. For me, I saw it as a new challenge, a new opportunity to discover myself and to know, hey, if this is possible, then and I know guys are making it happen, then why can't I, right? So
Yeah.
that's the big reason. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Earlier you kind of talked about how like probabilities in poker. was something that you really enjoyed, and that kind of transferred into trading because, in my opinion, that's something that I really liked. I was a big math guy all throughout high school and college. I really liked math due to the fact that there was always an answer. You know what I'm saying? No matter what with
Yeah.
numbers, there's an answer. And same thing with that kind of in trading that I try and tell people is that when it comes to like algebra, when it's like
Yeah.
2 + 2 equals, and it's always gonna have an answer. I try and ship that over to trading as in if you have a strategy that is bulletproof with probability,
Yeah.
and you've tested it over time, going the probability of this happening every single time will be in my favor if I do these things, correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to you, to new traders out there or just anyone, how important is it to you to have a strategy and stick with it and all that type of stuff? Just kind of want to get into that.
Extremely important. So one thing I wanted to highlight as well in that sense before I answer that question is, there are guys that are very, math orientated and
Mm-hmm.
calculated, and other guys are very like, emotional driven. So like they're
Mm-hmm.
looking for the fish, they're looking for the weakness in the market, and they exploit that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely more that guy rather than doing the mathematics and the calculations.
Mm-hmm.
I have found way more success in that front. But to answer your question, in regards to a trading strategy, it's extremely important to know what you're doing and to do it repetitively. So no matter what you're going to try, you're going to feel it at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
That's my assumption. You need to gather the data first in order to move forward from there, because I kept failing and failing until I decided to just have a journal, to do 100 trades simultaneously, and to understand after these 100 trades what my win rate was, to do another 100 trades with that same strategy to see if I could improve it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only way for me to truly, improve my way of trading, because I now have the data to look out for. If you don't know what the data is you gather, then there is no there is no solution for the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Same as, for example, Tesla, right? Everyone thinks that Tesla is an electric vehicle company or an EV company, whatever it is. But if you really think about what they're doing, it's just a data company, right? They're trying to accumulate as much data as possible by all these cars driving around in a Tesla, connected to their AI or whatever it is, their system, getting smarter and smarter every single day. That's the data they're gathering. So in essence, the data is what they're going to sell towards these other companies in the near future. So if you want to become a better trader, focus on the data, rather than, just have no trading plan, do some stuff here, then some stuff there. Yeah, bro, you need to find structure. I know it's hard, but it's super important,
Yeah.
especially at the beginning.
Yeah, finding structure, like you said. I kind of was talking about it briefly today about, if you don't have a strategy or something that you're looking for every single night, you're going to be 10 times more emotional because trading
Yeah,
alone is already so emotional. You know what I'm saying? You're making decisions, hard decisions. And if you, once again, if you don't have a strategy, I think you're kind of guessing. You're going each night not looking for the same things. You're ultimately kind of guessing if it's just going to go up or down, which, ultimately isn't
that's it.
exactly trading. But kind of we went over that, but then I want to kind of shift over to risk management. I think one thing that's really overlooked is once again people, have their risk management plans of I'm gonna risk 1%, I'm gonna risk 1.5%, 2%, whatever. But I think one thing that's really overlooked is having a strategy to when to close your trade. You know what I'm saying? Is when you're in profit, people don't know what to do. So is there anything or any advice you can give on something you may do or like advice that you can give to people on what
Yeah,
they can do once in profit?
bro, you completely nailed it right there, man. People are so obsessed with entries, getting the perfect entries, but nobody knows how to close a position, right? So like,
Exactly.
which is even more important if you think
Yep.
about it. Yes, your entry is important, but the trade management itself is absolutely key. So yeah, I think that the most important part is how do you manage your drawdown? Because if you make some profits, of course you can take some profits along the way, and so on and so on. You can skate it up, whatever you want from there. But managing your drawdown is super important, because in the end, risk to reward is not always letting your position run and see from there. From my personal experience, right? Everyone has their own thing. Some people like to set their position and let it run and don't look back. For me personally, I like to stare at the charts. I like to see where my position is going to. I like to actively manage my losses as well, to cut down if I see my strategy not going to my direction straight away, or at least selling half my position. So when I get hit, I lose less, right? And just scale my position down. which in the end gives me a way lower, loss than my initial risk. And when I win, usually it tends to go into my direction straight away. So I tend to focus a lot on managing my losses, but that's my personal strategy because I found on stream as well that I want to provide the people in my, on stream with the highest win rate
Mhm.
possible. Because if you're watching my stream and you're coming and watching my stream once in a while, then you want me to win when you watch, right? So I want to purposefully go for a higher win rate, at least 70-75% win rate, to make sure that happens.
Mhm.
And I focus a lot on keeping your losses as small as possible to give you the example of how you manage a position when you're in drawdown.
Mhm.
A lot, I think that's extremely useful. When I trade by myself, I tend to be a little bit more, sometimes be a little bit more aggressive because I know I can handle this, or I can manage this. um but I understand, and I think you do too, that you're an example, right? People copy you blindly without even knowing. You have, in your description, like, no financial advice, a
Yep.
disclaimer,
Mhm.
all of that. People don't care about that. You still have a responsibility. So I tend to be more careful on stream with that. Yet managing my losses correctly was overall in my complete strategy a big win. So this is truly what leveled me up here. But now my losses are small, my winners are bigger. Because I kept my losses very small, I could manage my risk better, and therefore I could find more trade opportunities,
Mhm.
during the day.
Yeah, most definitely. I think once again, that's why I brought it up, is it's so overlooked. I think people really don't know what to do once they're in profit, and it's actually something that I learned with crypto because I also learned crypto before I kind of started trading around the same time. It was around both like 2020, which I think a majority of people my age learned about kind of crypto in 2020, or I
Yeah,
mean a little bit before that, 2019. But in 2020 is like, when I was talking about crypto, how I learned that was like people think you just press, you're investing, you're putting the money into it, and then you made profit, but you didn't make anything until you sell it. You know what I'm saying? So that was one thing that I always kind of took that into the markets of like, it's much more than clicking buy or sell, managing the trade and get into profit. You didn't make anything until you close it. So I just wanted to bring that
yeah,
up and go over that because I think it's really important. And then also going off of that is cutting losses early. Like you said, with
yeah,
even when you're in profit, being able to notice when trades are going against you is very, very key in my opinion. I'm a very like a big price action trader as well as using correlations. And if I see the price action and the correlation go against me, I'm out of there. There's no reason to stay in it.
yeah.
So yeah,
Bro, let me ask you a question right now. How
yes,
many times at the beginning of your career did you move your stop loss up when you saw it went to the wrong direction, to then say, no, man, you know what? I think it's going to go there, not there. My bad. It was not this order block. It was this order block.
yep,
Put it there. And before you know it, you tripled or quadrupled your risk. And
yeah,
it still went there, right?
every
So
all the time.
that's what I'm talking about. So this is just a no-brainer to just never move your stop loss. But rather than doing that, already trying to reduce your risk as soon as possible when you see it going to your wrong direction. Because 99% you're right.
Hmm.
You're gonna be right, and it's gonna hit your stop loss regardless. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
that's at least what I've experienced personally.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own strategy, obviously. But in terms of winners, I think it's super important as well to take some profits very quickly, to remove the emotional bias from that particular trade as well. Because again, personal preference, but if I take some profits and I secure myself on break even whenever it makes sense, right? I know already at least that I made some money off this trade,
Mm-hmm.
and I can continue here. And yeah, people can say, yeah, but then your risk reward is lower. True, but at the same time, I made some money, and I can go to the next trade and do the same thing again. So it's kind of like, it's important to manage both of your losses, but also your wins at the same time. So take some profits whenever you can already, to secure yourself, to remove the emotional bias, and at the same time, when you go and draw down, to remove your losses. This is called active trade management.
Mm-hmm.
And with retail, this is super important to do so, because if you would be an institution or something like that, you probably have way more capital. You could hedge your position out, and it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
So yeah, as a trader, I think this is the best way to get started as well.
Yeah, and that's a big difference between, people trading, at least in my opinion, the lower time frames compared to higher time frames, and swing trading is
Yeah,
the active trade management and pulling down all type of
yeah,
stuff. But Kind of talking about risk to reward. How important is risk to reward to you?
For example, bro, I've never calculated any pips
Hmm.
whatsoever. You know, I never talk about pips on my stream, almost never. So, like I'm not that guy that calculates pips. I look at risk to reward, and I need to get more money for my risk for the risk that I take. It's pretty simple.
Hmm.
Um, unless I'm scalping, at the 1 minute or something like that. But otherwise, no, man, it's extremely important to always look for the risk reward that benefits you.
Hmm.
So what your win rate is. I mean there is not a specific risk reward that is better. I mean, you can have a risk reward of 10 to 1 and win 11% of the time and you make money.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, what can I say? It's just like it's important, but you need to know what your win rate is compared to your risk reward. I think each
Hmm.
individual topic doesn't really matter. It's a combination of both that really matters.
And it goes back to the probability, like you're talking about earlier, and sample sizing, because I have my own strategy of I've gone through and noticed through all my back testing, all my trades, that my average risk to reward rate from when my setups occur is 1 to 3s, 1 to 4s. So once I
Hmm.
get to 1 to 3s, 1 to 4s, that's where I'm actively managing my trade, looking to close the majority of my position, let my runners go, and all that type of
Yeah.
stuff. But it goes back to the data and knowing that of myself and what kind of trader I am, and all that type of stuff. But one thing that you talk about that I wanted to kind of explain is analysis paralysis. Can you explain that and
Ah.
let my people know what analysis paralysis is?
Oh, dude, yeah, especially at the beginning. And then this is where a lot of indicators come into play, right? So when I started out as a trader, I started to use all these type of indicators, the MACD, RSI, the moving averages. I think these are still the best, by the way. The moving averages are still my favorite if I
Hmm.
would think about using them. But overall, like one indicator tells you this, the other thing that this, then price action tells you something different. Then at some point you have no idea what you're doing anymore. So, rather than using all these external factors to come to a decision or come to a climax for your analysis, I would say, focus on price action first. I
Hmm.
think price action is the most powerful indicator you could ever imagine, ever dream of. Combination of market structure and price action is in my opinion one of the only indicators you need to be successful. But analysis paralysis is pretty much being so you know deep into the chart. You're doing your analysis, but you see so many different factors that you have no idea what's going on anymore, and you just do not see a possible outcome. And you go from chart to chart to chart to chart to look for a setup, but you can't find a setup anymore. Even
Hmm.
though it's there, you can't find it. And I think this is what happens usually at the beginning, and you truly have to overcome that. And in my opinion, the best way to do so is to focus on price action first.
Hmm.
And that's why, for example, whenever I started trading SMC for the first time, I clearly removed that aspect of analysis paralysis from my trading because it was very straightforward. Supply and demand, liquidity, imbalance, market structure, you name
Yeah.
it. Tons of other factors come into play when trading SMC, but overall, I think this is where I benefit a lot from overall. Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Going off of a strategy, do you think that sticking to one session is important, or do you think having a strategy you can kind of apply to different sessions, or maybe even for a beginner trader, do you recommend maybe sticking to one session to start off?
That's a very good question. Mm, I would not be able to give you an honest answer because I trade everything.
Yeah, yeah,
But like if I would give a correct answer, I would say it's always better to start off with one session and as less pairs as possible
hmm,
to just get a feel of what a currency or pair or gold or whatever is doing over a period of time, because your brain is just wired to seek from or for different types of patterns,
hmm,
and I think that whenever you trade gold for a long period of time, you get familiar with how that asset operates and moves. And I think same for each session. Each session has their own behavior. Yet, in my opinion, after that, it's important to understand how both sessions operate because it's not always that the London session is the best session of the day or the New York session is the best session of the day. At some point, you learn to understand how the money, moves and operates, and which session is actually, better, to trade with. So at the beginning, yes. In the future, after you're trading it for a long time, I'd highly recommend to trade more pairs and to trade more sessions to get familiar with the overall market, to know, which session is going to be better the next day, for example.
Hmm. That's awesome. Okay. So we haven't talked a bunch about your strategy yet, and for anyone out there, like I said prior, was that me and Lorenzo have very similar strategies, looking for you call it a massive expansion, looking for break of structure, liquidity with the
Yeah.
imbalance there. Is there anything a part of that? So you kind of just briefly said that price action is the most important,
Yeah.
but is there anything a part of just maybe those three things that you look for more than others?
100%. And I think this is the main thing that I preach on my channel, and that is the correlations.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the most powerful confirmation or confluence that I've ever seen ever in trading. Not only for forex or other markets, for the energy markets, but also for crypto. Each market itself has their own ecosystem. So money is energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as long as you print enough money, like, money cannot get destroyed. They try to remove money from their money supply in the United States, $95 billion a month for the last 4 months, until one bank collapsed, obviously, and then they printed 300 billion again. So 4 months of work down the drain. So
Yeah.
let's say money doesn't disappear. Well, if money doesn't disappear and money is energy, then it can't be destroyed, right? Energy can never be destroyed. It can only be transmuted. So it goes somewhere else. Then you have to figure out, where is the money flowing into? Because if it doesn't go, if let's say it does go out of this pair, then it probably goes to this pair, or it goes to this asset. You need to track the
Mm-hmm.
money flow of that particular ecosystem. So when looking at the market, I want to know where potentially the money is going into. So if it
Yep.
doesn't go to gold, where is it going? Is it going to the stock market, or is it going to the dollar? Where is the money going?
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the correlations come into play. So when looking at supply and demand, which is fantastic, because you can leverage this very well, you can understand what, for example, a positive correlation is,
Mm-hmm.
what a negative correlation is between pairs. Sometimes gold and the dollar are negatively correlated, not all the time. You need to confirm that every single session. Well, once you confirm it is, then why not looking for the synchronization of two particular charts? One being in an area of supply, if you trade supply and demand, one being in an area of support, or one being in an area of resistance and an area of support or demand, whatever it is, and trying to look for that synchronization.
Mm-hmm.
So when I figured that out, I think that's what made me all my money. Like,
Yep.
I can tell you that already, because now I have my ultimate confirmation. And I was all surprised when I looked at other, live traders and so on and so on as well. By the way, I love a couple guys. We're going to talk about them very soon as well.
Mm-hmm.
No offense here, but when I see somebody looking at one chart and one chart only, I'm like, okay, that's great. But what about all these other charts that you can look at to come to a conclusion for that one particular chart?
Mm-hmm.
And when I understood how these correlations operated and how you can actually identify them on the lower time frame, and you can look for that exact synchronization to look for that confirmation you need, especially when trading supply and demand, I think it doubled my overall win rate
Yep.
when trading, and my overall conversion, I
Yeah.
would say.
No, that seriously is such great advice. And it's something that over the last probably 3 months, I've been really trying to preach to all my live streamers, my group guys. Rewind this about 3 minutes and re listen to everything you just said. I'm telling you guys, like literally dissect what he said, because I'm telling you, if you go through and look at correlated pairs, negative correlated pairs, especially if you trade supply or demand, you'll see
Yeah.
more often than not, especially with like negatively correlated pairs, that you'll be going to look for, let's say, an area of supply, like a supply play. You'll go over to the
Yeah.
negatively correlated play, and that also is looking like it possibly could sell off, or is in a supply. It's not in an area where you're interested in getting it because they're not synchronized and they're not lining up. And once again,
Yeah.
that helped me avoid more losing trades. You know what I'm saying? Not only did it help increase my winning trades, but it helped me decrease my losing trades. So rewind that, everyone. Listen to what he has to say. If you do not use correlation, watch his live streams. I go over it on mine as well. I just did a little video going over a couple of trades that I caught with GU where I was looking at the DXY, the BXY, and USD CAD all and correlating them and how I was able to catch really good risk reward 1 to 4 based on correlation off of just a nice supply. So once again, thank you for
Yeah.
kind of going over that because that was really key in my win rate as well.
Amazing. Yeah, I think it's important to highlight as well that each particular forex pair has their own basket as well, right?
Mhm,
So, for example, when you look at indeed the dollar JPY, then you have the dollar index chart, the
mhm,
DXY, and you have the JPYX or the Japanese yen basket
mhm,
to look at as well. And that each particular basket actually shows the strength of that individual currency in comparison to other currencies. So that's why it's so powerful, because if you want to trade the dollar against the yen, you no longer have to look only at the dollar yen and look at the structure. You now can also look at the dollar index, the structure of that particular chart, and the Japanese yen basket. And you can look for, again, the correlations. You can look for the candle structures, and you can avoid taking certain trades when you know that one pair or one chart, I mean, let's say the Japanese yen basket, has still some room to come down or to go up, whatever direction it is. Um, so you might be able to be a little bit more patient with actually executing your trades. And I think this will higher and increase your win rate tremendously.
mhm. Most definitely. And once again, I think it has to do with it increases your patience. So
Yeah.
maybe let's talk about patience. How important is patience to you in your trading?
I mean, I'm maybe the most boring, no, maybe the most boring live streamer yeah, out there right now at the moment, because I'm
There's no
very
way.
patient.
Mm,
The way I can keep it entertaining is by talking and enjoying spending some time with the fam
mhm,
and the community itself. But when it comes down to execution, I'm very patient and aware of when I enter my position. But once you see it paying off, you get okay. I get it now. That's the reason why he was so patient. And 99% of the time, when people say, look at the gold chart, look at the gold chart, or look at, Euro USD, and then I look at the chart, and then I see just a massive falling knife, and I'm like, yeah, okay, you want me to enter now? You know,
yeah,
at some point, I
to
should
do
just
that.
enter one time to just show them, okay, this is what happens when
Yeah.
you get caught up in the FOMO
Uh-huh.
and when you just don't when you are not patient enough, because the moment I will enter in the middle of that falling knife here, you will see it return and actually come to my entry to then go into the right direction. So yes, I agree with sometimes I miss out on a position, yet the amount of times that it will actually save me by being patient will increase my win rate, it reduces the fees, the spread, whatever it is. It's massive.
Yeah.
So patience is absolutely key. And I think FOMO is just a lack of not understanding your strategy enough.
Mhm.
Um, having that gambling mindset. We call this a zombie trading, and I think a lot of people understand what I mean when I talk about zombie trading. Zombie trading is more or less, you go to your PC, you look at the charts, you see a setup, and your unconscious makes that trading decision. So, like, you're kind of looking at the chart, yet you're not completely there, but yet you press that button and you sell or you buy that particular currency. For me, that was something that I had to really work on, because I was placing trades even though I knew it was not going to play out. Somewhere deep, far away, I knew it was not the right setup to look for or not the right setup to trade, yet I still did it. So yeah, FOMO and patience are like, or FOMO is one of the biggest killers. We all know that,
Mhm.
but patience is gonna be better. I think if you truly know your strategy and you know how to operate, then you will automatically be patient
Yeah.
because you know how your strategy works. And
Mhm.
if you do not know your strategy well enough, then probably you will not be patient. So yeah, it comes down to the certainty of what you're doing and the setup that you're training specifically.
Yeah. And the mindset you have. I think there's a big difference
Yeah.
between having a gambler's mindset and having a trading mindset because a lot of people out here who aren't doing those necessary steps of being patient and having a strategy are just gambling, being impatient, and it's ultimately just killing them because they want that instant gratification. You know what I'm saying? When it
Yeah,
comes to trading, hopping in, getting those profits, and feeling that dopamine hit. You know, I'm getting excited, all that type of stuff. So,
that's it.
you know, instant gratification is a big killer in this game. Kind of talking about live streamers. Is there any other like live streamers that you watch or
I
feel to
Ben,
take notes from?
I saw your boy Dr. Dollar on
Yeah.
the show.
Uh-huh. I love,
Uh,
dude. That's my guy. I love
I
that
love this
guy.
guy. You know why I love him so much? Because like he's super authentic. You know, he doesn't give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing whatever he wants. Like, you know, come up with his massive glasses, then chilling with his friends. Like,
Yeah.
it seems like he's just chilling, hanging out, you know, and just trading a little bit. No, I like his energy a lot. Yeah, a couple other guys. To be honest, I do not watch many other guys in the scene. To be honest, I'm quite new in this
Yeah.
industry as well.
Yeah.
So I'm just starting, coming up a little bit here. So yeah,
No, that's
no,
fun.
Dr. Dollar. The reason why is because we kind of grew together simultaneously. We were at like the
Uh-huh.
same size, and then at that point, we kind of feel that interconnection. We don't talk or something like that, but we donate each other sometimes, and like
Yeah.
a big shout out and that type of stuff. So no, I like personalities like him. You know, guys that just don't care and do their thing and enjoy what they're doing.
100%. You know, I'm definitely very blessed to get to meet Dr. Dog. That's one of my good friends now. You know, I was just talking to him today, but that was one of the things like a second ago that you were talking about. You're like, oh, I should just enter a trade because they called it like he'll literally like be looking at the comments, and if someone says like, oh, why aren't you selling gold? He'll just put on the position and then type their username and just put on the screen that, oh, that's his trade. You know, just go whatever, and just kind of it's
Yeah,
so great. You
that's a
know.
good one, by the way. That's a very good one.
Yeah,
I
it's
need to remember that
authentic.
one.
No, you should do it. Yeah, exactly. And just being himself with the glasses, his jackets that he's been wearing since day one, you know, and that's
That's it.
someone I took so
Yeah,
many notes from, and he really helped me get to where I am, you know, being my second guest on the podcast. He's the reason I started live streaming. I got to go on his live streams to start and stuff. And it goes back to your network is your net worth. And that was one of the bigger traders I got to, you know, me off the bat that really helped me elevate and I took notes from and just even lifestyle, business wise and just mindset
that's
and
it.
character, you know what I'm saying? So like,
Yeah,
you know, how like you like his personality is the same way kind of how I like you and why I watch yours, dude. I love your charisma, your character, and like you said, you like to talk and how so like how good you are at talking and stuff. Like it's 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 inspirational and it's like what I'm trying to get at. And I've been trying to be really better about my podcast and being articulate, being able to articulate my words better and stuff. So
yeah,
you know, kudos to you for doing that, and you and Dollar for going and doing that in front of 400 to 700 to 1,000 people concurrently, you know, and 9,000, 10,000 views a night. So if you guys do not watch Lorenzo's live streams yet, guys, I'm obviously going to leave all of his links in the description. They are so great. I learned so much from his productivity, like I said, of just his like thumbnails and how his live streams are, how he kind of interchanges from screen to screen. It's all things that I'm going to be obviously trying to build up towards. So one thing I kind of wanted to bring up was how fast you kind of got to jump because a lot of people out there are
yeah.
wanting to start podcasts, wanting to start live streaming, and you were able to kind of gain a lot of traction fast. For anyone that doesn't like know that, like you were within a couple weeks, you already had thousands of subscribers, were getting a lot of views. Am I correct? I mean, at first
Yeah,
you had
correct.
zero. You know, you started from zero, but you in a couple of weeks were doing very well. Do you
Y-
have any kind of advice to anyone on how you're able to do that?
Yeah, so honestly, like I have no idea what happened. So like I started out, trading. I was a little bit bored. I was like, you know what? Let me actually just click on that live stream button. If you look at my first stream, it was terrible. It was so bad. Actually, that's not even that long ago, right? But I was like, you know what? Let me press the button. Let's see from there. And no viewers, nothing, right? So again, a couple streams later, I think 2 or 3 streams, and then boom, I got my first like what 10 people, right?
Mm,
Nothing special, but for me that was everything. I was like, wow, that's so cool, man. I can talk, and the reason why I wanted to do this first is to become a better trader myself because I know the moment, and this was the mindset I had. I was trading, but the moment you're live, you now have a responsibility towards other people, and if they watch you, you know that they're watching, you cannot fuck up,
yeah.
right? You can't fuck up because now people are checking you. So that was the first big reason why I started trading live. But that 100 or that 10 turned into 100 within like a couple days after that. And then I think within 2 weeks it was 400. So I went from like 0 viewers to 400 live concurrent viewers in 2 weeks or something like that.
Which
And
is
I have
wild.
no idea why or what the reason is for that or what happened. It just happened. And we set up the Discord, and within a week we had like 1,000 members in Discord. Yeah, and then from there, the ball started rolling, and like that was like maybe 7 months ago, roughly. And yeah, right now we're at like 8,000 members plus in Discord. Almost 25 on YouTube. So we're trying to get there.
Hmm.
But yeah, consistency, man.
Yeah.
I think consistency is key. I think this is where it's all about. Knowing that people can count on you, that you're gonna be there no matter what the market is doing, even if there's not much, then you just say, hey, listen, there's probably not gonna be a lot today, but still, if you want, we can do this analysis, we can cover this and that. And trying to keep the community as close as possible and just
Hmm.
interact. Why not interact with the community, right? Because I think this is what people truly appreciate is that as long as I can right now with the amount of people talking, I'm starting to right now miss, messages because I can't read every message anymore any longer at the moment. But I try to still do so
Hmm.
because people feel appreciated, and this is what a community, does, right? They constantly talk with each other, and we're trying to bring up as many conversation materials as possible. So my opinion is to, if I can give anyone advice that like want to start live stream, interact with your audience as much as possible.
Hmm.
I think this is the best thing that I could do, and that I will always try to do in general, because I think that's my nature. That's what I would love to do, and that's where the community is built on.
Hmm. Make them feel appreciated. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? That's something that I've been definitely trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Is remember all the names. You know what I'm saying? Like every single live stream, I know all the names. I'm saying, what's up? How's your
yeah,
day? All that type of stuff. Because it is really important. You know, there's no community without that community aspect of feeling like you're all together
that's it.
and, showing up every day. But that is really good, advice. So I appreciate that. And, but kind of like right before that, you were talking about how, when you are live streaming, people are checking you. You can't mess up. And that's one thing for me that like honestly helps me is I would like to say my discipline is very very good. Um, waiting for my setup, waiting for my confirmations to get into the trade, and I think it all kind of started and kind of developed more from live streaming every day and knowing that I
Yeah,
can't mess up in front of them. If I do this and I enter this trade that's not part of my plan, they're going to be in the chat saying, "Oh, well, this isn't part of your
yeah,
plan. Oh, you said you were going to enter that." So you got to kind of hold you accountable.
absolutely, 100%. On the other hand, as well, right? If you win like 8 trades in a row, like I've done many times,
Hmm.
and then you lose one, you're so bad, and you're
Uh,
such a terrible trader, and like
Worst.
whatever it is, right?
Hmm.
But that's the game you play, right? That's just that is the perfect example of how people are so emotional when trading, as well. But I think the more credibility you build over time and the more profitable trades you have done in the past, I think the less it matters if you lose a position here. But indeed, at all times, you'll stay sharp because hey, listen, if 500, 600 people are watching you right now, you don't want to go down in front of 500, 600 people.
Hmm.
If it was absolutely a terrible mistake, right? If it was just a probability and it happens, it happens. But no, it keeps you sharp, and it definitely is something that made me a better trader as well.
Yeah.
Like I can't deny it's definitely something that yeah, that helped me a lot, especially from a psychological standpoint, sticking to what I think is right as well, because whenever I have an analysis, there's always someone in the chat saying, no, I think it's the other way around, or I think it's actually a buy, not a sell. And then I'm like, is he right or is he not right? No, stick to my analysis, and usually, it tends to play out. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
It'll
this is
work.
what you get tested a lot also.
No, most definitely. And like you said, it's the whole psychological thing, and psychology and mindset is just so big in this industry and stuff. But I
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
wanted to bring that up eventually because you know that is such a big thing. And is there anything outside of trading that you do, like working out, meditation? Is there certain things that you do that prep you for entering the charts that you can kind of talk about?
Yeah, so that's what I for sure at the beginning I was super, and I think this is what a lot of guys are doing that just become profitable. They start to work on everything. Like, I'm gonna be completely honest and transparent here.
Yeah.
They start going to the gym, they meditate, they do breathing techniques. They have everything in line perfectly. Their sleeping schedule, and so on and so on. But at some point, it gets such a habit that you naturally just know what to do in the market.
Hmm.
So, at some point in the market itself, then I'm not really, or in life. Yes, I go to the gym. Yes, I try to eat my meals. I prep my meals. And so on and so on. But um, there is not particularly something at the moment that I do in regards to meditation or breathing techniques. Did it help me at the beginning? Yes, it did. But at some point, you just know what to do and when to take action.
Hmm.
Becomes such a habit. Imagine if you are trading for 6, 7 years, and then the last 3 years you trade every single day, like nonstop, right? Like, it changes your connections, with your brain and like everything. So yeah, no, I highly recommend you to clear your mind, to go into the charts, as clear as possible. Try to you know avoid any personal issues, like such as if you had a fight with your whatever, your girlfriend or your friends, or there's something going on. Try to avoid the charts because it will have an effect on your trading.
Hmm.
But when that is clear, you know go for it. But overall, I would say yes, make sure that no external factors in life are prohibiting you from making the right decisions.
Yeah, because that honestly is a big killer in this game. It kind of goes off to kind of what I want to talk about it about. We could show someone a whole strategy. We could make a whole video about everything we know, the whole strategy, but
Yeah.
me and that other person could get in the same trade and they're going to lose that trade or not get the same profit as me because of a
No,
bunch of external factors. So, why is it that two people can look at the same strategy, the same pair, and the same setup, but have different outcomes on that trade?
that's actually that's a great question. So I think what the main reason is that you know people build a different foundation as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
the way I traded is probably not the way you started out, trading. We
Mm-hmm.
don't start the same way. We don't evolve the same way. So once we are at a certain point, we might think completely different. So, we are all completely different. That's why it's also so important to look at your own style and to develop your own habits in trading, because this is where trading is made for eventually, to do your own thing. It gives you an opportunity to, you know, go into the market and to just make your own rational decisions based on your analysis. There is nothing or nobody that can tell you something different. If trend lines and moving averages are working for you, then trade trend lines and moving averages, right? If support and resistance works for you, then trade support and resistance. Like, I do not believe in that, that retail statement. Oh, this is retail, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're SMC, man. We're like institutional traders. Yeah, I mean, go for it, brother. Like, everyone has their own style. I personally tend to combine everything and to turn, to leverage SMC concepts, to use some retail concepts, to figure it out, to create a hybrid and to make it work for me. But that's also the reason why people have a different outlook. When person A can see this, while person B can look at the exact same chart and see something different, is because usually it is because of their foundation. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they started out differently, they evolved differently, and therefore they are at a different stage in their trading career.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. Like of course everyone thinks like after their first withdrawal that they're forever profitable. Like,
Yeah.
um, kind of like when was it along your journey that you finally felt that you had the skill set to actually do it full time and that you were actually making consistent profits while trading?
So let's say you go to I think it has to do a lot for me. It had to do a lot with my bankroll in
Hmm.
general. I'm not sure if you call it bankroll
Yeah,
whenever you. I think that's more of a poker term.
hmm.
Let's say my portfolio.
Hmm.
But when I went over across the six figures, I knew that I could risk only a certain amount of money. Let's say 0.5%, and I could do a zillion trades. To keep my portfolio up here. So as long as my risk management stayed on point, I would have enough. My portfolio would be big enough to just gather the data that I need to be again very data driven to then still be profitable in the long term. So it in my portfolio helped a lot when I reached a certain amount of money. However, um, then it's a formula, right? So if you only have $8,000, you can
Hmm.
also risk 0.5% and do the exact same thing as me. So the big problem is that people are so obsessed with making money at the beginning. And that's the biggest mistake you can ever make in trading. And I think that's the moment I became profitable when I started to care less about the actual money. I started to care more about each individual trade that I made. So, for example, um, I get this question all the time. And let's say you have you have $500, right?
Hmm.
On your MT4 or whatever MT5 account, and you want to trade. And you ask me a question. Hey, how can I turn this $500 into $10,000 as quick as possible? Then I know you're going to be unsuccessful, or at least most likely going to be unsuccessful, because that's just not the way the game works. You
Yeah.
might have seen these guys flipping, $1,000 into $1 million, and you idolize that, but that's not the way we trade here, or that's not the way to become a sustainable, profitable trader over the long term. I think it is more important to look at each individual trade, gather the data, and not care about the money at all. Because if you have the proof of 100 trades that you've taken, and my risk reward is a 1 to 3, and I have a 60% win rate, you're extremely profitable. You didn't make any money yet because you risk only 0.5% based on a $500 account. So you didn't make that much money. But now you have all the data. Now you can leverage your knowledge. You can go to a prop firm. You can apply for a challenge, and you can use and practice the exact same, or all the details, everything that you've learned over the long term. You can implement it right now and get funded.
Yep.
And now you're not trading with a $500 account. Now you're trading with a $100,000 account, and now you can do the exact same thing and make a bunch of money from it. So people are so obsessed with turning their small account into a bigger account, while there are now, funded programs or platforms popping off left and right all over the place, providing you with all the liquidity or capital that you need in order to make more money. So, yeah,
Hmm.
my biggest advice is just do not focus on the money, forget about it. And I know life hits you hard and you need to make it happen, but get a job on the side,
Yeah.
because trading is not going to help you out right now. Like, focus on that later. Trading is not your way out for, going from $500 to $1 million very quickly. No, trading is should be a side practice until the data that you have gathered
Hmm.
is the confirmation for you that you might be able to then take it a little bit more serious,
Yeah.
and then from there you can grow.
No, that's
So
such great advice. No, I
yeah,
really appreciate that.
absolutely.
Before we get out of here, I just have to ask you, we talked about Bitcoin earlier, but what is your future predictions on Bitcoin?
I'm a future predict. Oh man, bro. Oh, don't get me into this question. It's a great question. I'm a big fan of it.
Hmm.
I'm stacking hard right now. I understand that it's seen as a safe haven. I love it because it's the same as gold, but it's scarce. Everyone knows exactly what the supply of Bitcoin will be
Hmm.
when it will be capped. So at some point, we know that there will not be more than 21 million Bitcoin. So you now have an actual implemented or programmed scarcity to a product,
Hmm.
and everything around value is based on scarcity. Because if there is an unlimited, supply, it becomes
Value.
valueless, right? There
Hmm.
is no value anymore. So Bitcoin has that programmable scarcity. So in the long term, I think it will win, regardless. I think everything will turn digital anyways. So people will go for the more easier solution. You cannot send a kilo or 2 pounds of gold across the border from Asia to the United States
Mhm.
without paying a tremendous amount of tax on it, without probably maybe having the scenario that people steal it from you, whatever it is. Yet I can send you $1 billion in Bitcoin right now for $1 in fees, and it will be on your bank account within, or in your wallet address within a couple minutes. So no, the positivity it can bring, and especially during times like these right now when there are so many uncertain things happening in the world,
Mhm.
I truly believe that Bitcoin will at some point hit $1 million. When that will happen, if that will happen next year or in 5 years or in 10 years or whenever it is, I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm not here to give any short term predictions because I'm not a magician. But I believe in the long term utility value it actually offers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, buy Bitcoin.
Yeah. No, that's great. I just was super curious. I'm a big crypto enthusiast as well. I think the future for crypto, especially with Bitcoin, is going to be huge. I just wanted to hear if you had a future price or anything. But like you said, with the scarcity and the value and kind of the technology behind Bitcoin is why I'm so intrigued in it. I do think,
Yeah,
with like you said, the uncertainties with currencies and everything going around in the world, you never really know. But you came on here, you gave so many gems, and I really appreciate it. You literally, once again, spit so much knowledge to all my viewers. I hope a lot of your viewers tap in. You share it to your community, and I really hope that we get to connect. Once again, I'm a huge fan of yours, and the last question I kind of wanted to ask for you is Lorenzo Corrado in the next 5 years. Where is he going to be at?
gonna be running like one of the biggest communities in the industry. One of the most loyal, committed. I'm gonna turn a community into a platform. So we're not just gonna be a community where I'm that guy. No, I'm gonna
Hmm.
be more on the background. Yet we're gonna have a lot of superstars running the community. Helping others to become successful in trading. We will hop from market to market, and potentially my true vision is to build the whole ecosystem. So we're talking about funding, we're talking about a hedge fund, we're
Hmm.
talking about all these metrics combined that fill that ecosystem up, where we have the community, institutional fund, plus the actual funding itself, and just close the complete gap. So Limitless becomes the true oracle
Yeah,
of everything. And if people come into our program, they can eventually benefit from all these different factors, and they can grow into different facets in that industry.
that's actually a very, very good idea. It's limitless. It's limitless ideas, and that's why
Hey, it's limitless.
I
It's
call it.
limitless.
That's why I call it no limit trading. It's the same exact reason. There's no limit to where you can take
No
it, and
limit.
I really like that. Honestly, exactly what you just said. Creating a whole kind of community where everything you need is there. That actually is very, very
Absolutely.
cool. Funding and everything. But once
I'm a big
again,
fan as well of the of the collaborations, man. So at
mhm,
some point we should collab. We should bring other guys to the scene as well. These Twitch
100%.
streamers, they're all collaborating, right?
Yeah,
All of them.
that's
They're
what I'm
all
saying.
collaborating, talking with each other, going on on their communities on Discord. Having some fun, some conversations. Like this is what's lacking in this trading industry. It's so individual.
Yep,
So we're gonna set things up here. We're gonna talk with more guys. We're gonna create a little clique, and we're gonna
we're gonna run it
take
up.
over the industry.
I completely agree, dude. Especially with the forex industry, it's like, as in my opinion, it's still kind of small right now. So like,
Yeah,
my vision, a little sneak peek for all you guys listening for going in the future is not only just having interviews with one person, but getting interviews where it's me, you, and Dr. Dollar hop on and we get to all talk and just stuff like that, where we all get to chop it up,
that's it.
because that's the importance. And there's people out there that do want to listen to what we all have to say, and just listen to us talk together. But yeah. Once again, I just want to thank you so much for coming on here, Lorenzo Corrado. Everyone, please leave a like and comment and tell him thank you so much for coming. This was such a pleasure. I'm a big fan of yours, and you spit so much knowledge. I learned so much. So once again, thank you so much for being here, Lorenzo.
Thank you, man. Big shout out, No Limit,
Yeah,
aka Limitless, right there.
yes,
Let's get it
sir.
going.
Appreciate that. That wraps it up for the seventh episode of the No Limit Podcast. Lorenzo, thank you. Until the next time,
Thank
guys.
you.
See you. Peace.
Peace.
The truth.